hoping you guys can hear me properly. I realize that the mic is under my mouth, so sorry about that. Anyway, so products and offers. So first and foremost, your products and offers. I keep saying products. So in this case, your services and your offers. And remember, your service is a standalone thing that is the core of your business. The offers are different elements that come together to, reach that level of transformation. So just making sure we remember that, right? So these are built from elements pertaining to your core services. And so, of course, I was actually referring to offers. So sorry about that confusion there, right? So let's make sure that we know that. So your offers are built from elements pertaining to your core service. So for instance, if your core service is social media management, right? There are other elements that, content creation. There are other elements that help to enhance that. And once all of these things are put together, it becomes a nice package, funny, that is delivered to somebody. So for instance, if you're gonna have content creation, content scheduling, content planning, all of these things. So yeah. So next thing now, must be brand aligned. Let's just say that. So all of the work that you've put in figuring out your target audience, your niche, your colors, your messaging, your vibe, your everything or whatever, like if your offer and your service like don't line up, then what are you doing? You get what I'm saying? Like, because that's gonna create like ultimate confusion, not only for your the persons who are in your community and stuff like that, but also for you, because you're gonna try and figure out like, all right, cool, how am I gonna market myself? You get me? How am I gonna market what I originally intended this business to be? You get me? So always try and make sure that your brand helps to guide the way you develop offers. And also, like if you're going to have more than one service, make sure it always is coming back to the ground root or the core of everything of serving the same target audience that you have and the same niche that you have and stuff. Now, granted, I want to let you know that you can have multiple services that serve multiple niches, right? So when I say multiple niches, now remember a niche is a smaller sect of your target audience, right? So our reality is that you can have, and remember, I always love to use this example, you can have mothers, for example, as a target audience. You get me? Because not all women are mothers, men are not mothers, all of these things. You get me? So target audience, mothers. But then there are many different types of mothers, meaning, so there are mothers with 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids, 1 kid. You get what I'm saying? And then you also have mothers who have kids at different age groups. So there's so many ways that you can niche down, right? So suppose you have a product that serves mothers that have 2 kids versus mothers who have 1 child, or mothers who have teenage kids versus mothers who have 10-year-old kids. You get what I'm saying? So you can have multiple services and still have a certain brand promise and all of these things, but the specific offer or service, so service as in a singular, or if you have an offer or whatever, that can literally serve that specific niche based on the specific outcome. So for instance, maybe the mother that has 10-year-old children, wants back her time and wants back something, right? Versus the mom who has teenage kids, like 18 or so and so, and she wants like extra travels and something like that, right? So maybe your general brand promise is, providing a type of solace for mothers, right? For instance, right? So that's your brand promise. So when you think about it, both of those different things, a service that helps her to get back her time and a service that helps her to, travel more or whatever, those 2 things provide solace for our mom. You get me? So with that said, those 2 things are catering to those 2 separate niches. However, they're still under your brand promise. And so therefore they're still brand aligned. You get what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is that, so you can still have some level of diversification, but just make sure everything is still aligned with the core of your brand. So that's why it's so important to have your core written down, your identity sorted out, your journey like mapped out, so that it can really guide the way that you create moving forward, right? So yeah. So key things to remember for DIY based services, right? Or service based businesses, right? And just for shared knowledge, DIY is do it yourself, right? So set up to empower others to achieve transformative results with their own implementation, but your guidance. So what I normally like doing is actually, in these cases, just that's where like the strategy sessions come in, and like the goal trackers come in, and like outlines that I would give, like a PDF guide or something like that allows persons to feel like they've received guidance, hands-on guidance to an extent, and then they've been given like a plan or a checklist as to how to move forward, and they just do it themselves. You know what I'm saying? So that does help. There are a lot of persons who like to get that kind of guidance, and actually do very well with it, But of course, especially with some of the deeper things where it requires expert, execution. And I mean, not putting anybody down, but like there's a reason some people are experts in fields. You get what I'm saying? So that is when you move into now, the DWY and the DFY, type services and offers, if you will, right? So saying that to say, if it is that you have a service-based business and you see where, hey, you can actually create products. So like think of courses. Courses are a perfect example of, DIY, based services pretty much. So as much as it comes across as a finished product, right? It's still a service because it's the delivery of consistent information, and more often than not, it also allows for a continued type of connection with you, like if they want to get in touch with you further and stuff like that. So there is still a service kind of element attached to it. So courses I find are, especially if you choose to do hybrid, like for instance, this is hybrid, you get me? So as much as it's course based, you still have access to me. So I see this as a service, right? So it all depends on exactly the level of interactivity and accessibility that you want associated with your DIY offers and services. So yeah, and of course you're free to decide on that. Like there's no one way to do things. It all depends on just the type of business model you want to build and move out into. You know what I'm saying? So right. Oh, sorry. That was a huge mouthful. Right. Next thing. So key things for DWI based services, right? And offers. Set up with more of a partnership type of relationship to achieve a specific goal. So for instance, there's a service that I have in my product suite called the Bold Experience, where it's more like a literal overhaul of your business and your brand, your offers, your logistics, and your digital strategy, right? Now, of course, there are aspects of it that I could just take the reins and do myself, as a service provider. But especially for the fact that, we're doing an overhaul of everything, I would want your input. I would want your partnership and stuff. So we work together towards achieving a specific goal, right? So with that said, now, so yeah, you have the kind of opportunity to partner with persons as much as you would like to partner with them in terms of achieving some of these things. So even in terms of like social media management, for instance, like there are different aspects of social media management that can be shared, right? So for instance, perhaps, the client does the message maps and then you create the content and they schedule. You get what I'm saying? So it all depends on just the high touch point that you might want or the low touch point that you might want. It all depends on the level of interactivity rather that you might want, and allow that to really guide you, and make sure that you really, really, really test out exactly how involved you want the client, and also test out how involved the client wants you, right? Please do that for your sanity. Thank you. Um, and in testing that out and deciding on it, right? Just make sure that, yeah, you're willing to stick with it and stuff, and you put things in place, you package things, of course, to ensure that partnership is seamless and communication is properly facilitated and all of these things, right? So of course, again, that goes right back to, and you see how everything plays into each other. So that goes right back into, which resources are you using from, the packaging of your business and stuff, what logistics you're doing. You get what I'm saying? So everything literally is almost like a domino effect, right? And then last thing, so a key thing for your DFY DFY based services and offers, right? That's set up to allow you to take full range of getting a specific thing done to achieve a specific task and associated goal, right? So if it is that the person just handed over everything to you to get the thing done, and reach that transformative goal, then yep, that's it. You get me? And so in essence, I would say there's still a level of what we call it now, interactivity and partnership that's still required. Like maybe they need to approve something, maybe they'll need to give further instructions about something. You get me? But that's definitely like a 10% of like